This is the PR Podcast, a show about how public relations helps you tell your story to the world. We talk with great PR practitioners who have the skills, creativity, and just plain savvy to get their clients noticed. Now here's your host, Jody Fisher.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the PR Podcast. I'm Jody Fisher. Thanks for joining us. Well, don't forget to tune in to our YouTube channel. You know, we're on all the socials, and obviously we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts, where you can listen to the show, but you can also watch the show on our YouTube channel. And we've got, now 240 plus episodes on YouTube. And you can just set up an old playlist and scroll right through, find your favorite ones. There are ones that we can go back, I think it's 5, almost 6 years now, in the library of shows of the PR Podcast. So pick out your favorite one and watch our guests as well as listen to them. Always more fun to watch, I think, than to listen. And even if you can't watch, you can still have it on in the background. So check us out on YouTube. We are at the PR Podcast. Don't forget to put the in there because there's only one The PR Podcast. And check us out on YouTube. Now on with our show for today. We got a great guest. Jason Fishman leads DNA in Los Angeles, a go-to firm for e-commerce, digital assets, and investment in crowdfunding. He's known for making complex growth frameworks easy to understand. He's a new media strategist who's driven more than 500 successful crowdfunding campaigns, collectively raising 9 figures through data-driven marketing. He regularly speaks at major crowdfunding conferences, contributes to the Forbes Agency Council, and he reaches an audience of 65,000 viewers on YouTube. Talk about YouTube, right? His specialty is breaking down where modern PR meets performance marketing and how brands can leverage both, especially when crowdfunding is part of the plan. Jason, welcome to the PR Podcast.
Thanks, Jody. Excited to be here.
You are probably at the epicenter of of PR ROI, right? Because everyone asks about ROI and PR, and they talk about impressions and they talk about ad value. And I frequently talk about, is your media coverage making your cash register ring, making your phone go off? But you are using PR and driving crowdfunding campaigns. Tell us a little bit about that and about your company, DNA.
Absolutely. Happy to break it down for you here. We work with growth stage companies. So in some cases, startups, in other cases, mid-market, even, public companies that are doing one of these filings for a priced round where we're targeting investors, advertising, outreach, organic PR included in that, and bringing them down content funnels. And we have to measure the results. How much traffic we're driving, how many conversions, whether that's mid-funnel to a lead form, whether the transaction's actually taking place on that offering page, and calculating a marketing efficiency ratio. In many cases, given the size of the clients, one budget has to turn into the next. Happy to say we work with many of the top deals, top offerings that utilize this type of capital formation, this type of capital raising. I've worked on campaigns this year that have raised over $50 million on their own. So can break down the traffic algorithms, how we use content, PR across our paid media strategies in the content funnel to really maximize the reach and the performance that comes out of it.
Now, crowdfunding, we were talking before the taping started, crowdfunding is also a highly regulated area. So it's
Absolutely.
not like, and you set me straight here, it's not like setting up a GoFundMe, right?
No.
I mean, walk us through what real crowdfunding is all about.
Absolutely. So regulated investment crowdfunding files different forms, uses different filing forms, regulation crowdfunding, Reg CF, Regulation A+. Both of those you could target both retail and accredited investors. Reg CF up to $5 million, Regulation A+, that's the big stage, up to $75 million. There's another one I'll throw at you, which is Regulation D. That's accredited investors, high net worth, high household income audiences only. And you file with the SEC, you use a broker-dealer or a FINRA-regulated portal, which is more of a marketplace where many different investment opportunities are featured. And you're able to target investors. They have limitations for how much they could invest based on their own earnings. And it's very official. It's by the book. But we're able to use digital marketing to solicit and drive relatively large audiences to a deal and see, in many cases, thousands of investors come out the other side. So the founder, the CEO is getting the capital. but they're also getting the marketing value and the audience that later, can turn into ambassadors. I've seen merger and acquisition conversations. I've seen strategic partnerships, all different types of value in those new relationships beyond just the investments themselves.
So what kind of client is coming? I'm not asking you to drop names here unless you want to, but what type of a client is coming to you to start a crowdfunding campaign to engage with you?
Sure. It generally reflects what I'm reading about in the media. That's where I'm seeing audiences really latch on to a company and want to become a shareholder. So we're working with an influencer AI platform, Rad Intel, working with Greenfield Robotics, agriculture, robotics, Rise Robotics, hydraulics, AI. So things you may be reading about in Forbes or Entrepreneur Inc. or any of these online publishers, even mainstream publishers. That being said, Main Street uses these types of capital raises as well. So everything from restaurants to breweries, it does not need to be, the cutting edge tech as much as tell a story about what a company does, the industry, problem solution, really talking about the upcoming growth. There's rules around it, for forward-looking statements, but being able to get audiences excited about where the organization's going. We've worked on a full spectrum of different industries.
Yeah, so it's clear that someone can't set this up themselves. They need to come to someone knowledgeable like yourself who can really walk them through all the aspects of properly setting this up and then, of course, properly executing it. How are you publicizing or getting the word out about these crowdfunding campaigns? Are you direct to consumer? Are you using, newspaper, earned media? What are the vehicles?
Yeah, great question. So the offering page is set up on a FINRA regulated portal. There's sites like Start Engine, WeFunder, Republic, Net Capital. Some groups use broker dealers and tools to be able to host the offering on their own site. I generally point to a portal first because as you're hitting different milestones, as you raise 100K, 500, a million, they'll promote to their audience. They'll send out the email newsletter to their subscribers, to their investors. So you're getting some repeat investors of the platform to see your deal and hopefully participate. You then look at traffic strategies, including Meta, Facebook and Instagram advertising, Google, different types of banner ads, video ads, sponsored content. You can get featured by financial email newsletters. Some of them have paid programs, others select different deals, different issuers, companies issuing shares to feature. Investors even pay for that content with some of those newsletter publishers. We then look at the vertical that the company's in, get a clear persona broken out of their target audience, want to understand where they go online. We can then explore paid strategies on those channels, on those mediums around advertising, and begin to reach out, with a crafted story to get those audiences featured. So websites, apps have had a lot of success with podcasts and podcast outreach at that. The more social proof, the more third-party validation we're able to put into an offering page and the coinciding updates, the better. I mean, it's going to be multiple touch points before these investors convert. They need to keep hearing the same type of information, but from more sources, more trusted, more authoritative sources along the way.
So you're utilizing traditional PR, earned media, to bolster the crowdfunding effort. Is that what I'm hearing right?
Yes, absolutely. If we had earned media to feature on a weekly basis as part of our content calendar, that campaign is going to have much stronger projections, both from the audience that earned media reaches organically, as well as how we then amplify it by putting clips, putting features, putting logos into the advertisements, into the offering page updates. There's an update section on there, into the email drips and the social media content. The more we're able to point at those trusted sources, the better.
Do crowdfunding campaigns have a sort of bookends, right? A stop and a start date, or do they go on infinitely?
Filings are typically 12 months. The portals often set up a 3-month window for the campaign, and then you file extensions from there based on the performance. You do want to play off the closing Fear of missing out, immediacy is absolutely present in the final month, final weeks. So depending on where a campaign's at, it could be shorter. But I would say yes, most are within a 3 to 6 month, at least average timeline. Some are going after larger amounts and keep filing extensions and stay live for longer, but many are in that 3 to 6 month window.
So the value proposition to the people you're reaching out to is invest in this idea, this campaign, for some kind of a monetary return. And then the ROI, like you said, for the company that's sponsoring the crowdfunding campaign is, yes, initial financial investment, but also relationship building with those investors, as well as what, data capture on them so that they can then market to them in the future.
100%. There's a term used in the space of investomer. So if it's B2C, being able to bring your customers in and have them become shareholders alongside you. If it's B2B, mentioned a few B2B companies that we're working with. It's investors that, in some cases, work in the vertical. They understand the opportunity. I have seen B2B clients come in as investors as well. But across the board, they see that this vertical is going to become more and more prominent over time. This company is doing great things in it, and they want to, really get in there and invest. I could tell you that there are very active historical, I call them equity crowdfunding investors that have over 100 deals in their portfolio. So they're definitely people that we want to target in there. They could have a quicker conversion all the way through. And I see funnels where someone comes in as an investor, then becomes a super user or super ambassador of the brand once they're an owner.
So you've, as we said in the intro, you've done this, you know, hundreds of times.
Yes.
Is there a formula that you use? Is there sort of a test that you run with a prospective client to say, hey, this is going to work for you, or this is not going to work for you? I mean, I do that with PR, with traditional PR clients, right? Someone comes to me and they talk about what they want to accomplish, and I'll put it against, what I do, and I'll say, oh, this is definitely going to work for you, or wow, this may not work for you. And do you have that conversation with clients, and how does that conversation go?
Well, in many cases, clients are already live on a platform by the time they get in contact with us. There is this scenario where the platform introduces them to us. Referral comes in while they're in planning, so we get to build out their whole strategy. But again, they've already started the filing process with the SEC. I do speak at a good amount of events where entrepreneurs, startups, companies that are later stage as well to talk to me about this approach, both for capital formation and as a marketing strategy. So I'll then speak to them about, is this a good fit or not? I would say it's not for everyone. But every company that is running an investment crowdfund campaign should actually have a well-oiled machine of a marketing campaign, a marketing stack, a marketing approach. When I am speaking to groups on whether this is the best road for them to go down, the first question I ask is, how large is your audience? Do you need an audience to run one of these campaigns? No. We've worked with B2B issuers where it's created around the campaign itself. But if a company has over 100,000 email subscribers, social followers, what have you, we could run projections on how many of them can get to the offering page, how many of them can invest with average conversion rates, looking at average investment values to be able to determine, hey, your audience can be coming in during the first week, first month, and you could see these numbers brought onto the board. And that's part of the formula I speak to with any issuer is, hey, you really need to bring the first 100K or more in investments from first degree audiences. This could include friends, family, email subscribers, social media followers, followers of some of your strategic partners as well. There's a warm connection there. And more so than a cold audience that does not have a relationship with the individuals in the team or the company itself, they're more likely to convert in those early stages. In fact, a lot of issuers get stuck under 100K or even that 100 to 200K level. You could imagine if you're learning about a company for the first time and it shows they have $32,000 raised, but they want to disrupt an industry. You may think, hey, their burn rate is higher than that. This isn't very concrete. I don't know how much confidence I have. Where if you get to the same deal, but it has 132K raised, or 232K, 532K, 1,032K raised, it's a completely different perception. So you're looking to show that foundation of the deal, that first sign off. In traditional finance, working with VCs, they say this quote to me all the time: everyone wants to be first to be second, meaning they want to see a large investor come in, then they feel more comfortable putting in their funds. The same is true with these crowd sales, even though many of them, the average investment's much smaller. The average investment on a CF is around $1,500. That was the number for 2024. Should be a bit higher this year. For Regulation A plus, $2,300. So you may need 1,000 investments for every 1.5, $2.3 million raised. I could tell you probably need over 50,000 visits to the offering page there. That's with a 2% conversion rate. So you build these traffic strategies on how you're going to get people to the page, but knowing they're going to convert at a higher conversion rate if you have a strong enough showing there. If it shows, hey, 500 investors, over 750K raised, you want to front load that as much as possible and then add to it with advertising, organic, earned media, and a strong content marketing funnel that has headline worthy announcements coming out on a weekly basis.
Yeah, this is really a conversion of um, earn like the peso model, right? And then you're layering crowdfunding over it, I guess. Is that an accurate representation? Because I'm hearing you using, firing on all cylinders across the peso structure, and then using it to help crowdfund.
Yeah, if a company can accomplish it with their own audience, which has been done, I think Substack ran a $5 million Reg CF very quickly and with their existing audience on a platform called WeFunder. No need for advertising in that type of situation. Usually it's more of a blend. A brand goes into their first degree network, first few $100,000 is raised. You're then pulling traffic into with advertising. I've seen groups use email newsletters and getting featured without paying a rate card, but having a deal that's so appealing, the financial email newsletter wants to cover them, and that's a big chunk. Sometimes that's 1 million, 2 million raised of 5 million, and they're adding more and more from other traffic sources. I do like advertising because I know, hey, roughly every dollar, every $2 I spend on a platform like Meta is a visit to the offering page. We've built our own database at this point of over 1.8 million historical equity crowdfunding investors. Some of those with over 100 in their portfolio, 100 deals in their portfolio. So it's a blend. It's a little different for each company, of course, but yes, should definitely be prepared to get the traffic there, even if it requires payments to publishers or ad platforms.
So if I'm someone who is considering a crowdfunding campaign, I've never done it before. What are some of the questions I need to be asking myself other than finding someone like you to help? What are some of the questions I need to be asking myself?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would look for comparables. There's a website called kingscrowd.com, and you can see all of the Reg CF campaigns to date on there. There's an advanced search. You could literally look at over 10,000 equity crowdfunding, investment crowdfunding campaigns. It's important that I say investment crowdfunding because some of the deals are debt. You can actually offer debt terms to investors and pay them back 10%, 12%. Some are much higher types of returns. There's equity safes, convertible notes. You get to determine the structure there, of course. You can look at the Regulation A plus campaigns that have gone live, the CFs from this year, last year, the ones that are moving the most any given week, any given month, and you'd want to find the closest vertical companies to you, whether they're in your industry or something similar, and really get an idea of what does their offering page look like. Investor pitch deck, but in a vertical format, often a pitch video at the top, a lot of social proof all the way through. What are their updates? Their content channels consist of? Are they running advertising? Plenty of tools online to look at where they're running advertising and what's showing up. And ask yourself, is my deal going to be more appealing than theirs? How can I tell this story so that it resonates with even some of the same investors? Diversified portfolios from these individuals. How do I get them to include me? Then from there, doing that audience assessment, could I front load this? Would I actually get, 100K, a few $100,000 more if I go after friends, family, my customers, my clients, my network? Can I bring people in to really show that first movement and then build momentum from there? I would definitely recommend a marketing budget, if not a strategy that's going to include enough earned media, enough third-party traffic sources that are going to bring people into the deal. I'd look at those traffic projections. One thing you'll see when you look at King's Crowd, especially if you look at the 2024 insights, and some of these averages are there, the average investment, you'll see 50% of the issuers are pretty stagnant. The top 10% really get all the investments and move. Happy to say we work with many of those. That's where these formulas come from. That's why so many companies get stuck under 100K as well, too. They think merely by launching one of these crowd funds, they're going to be on the internet, going to reach, billions of people that are online. They have an amazing company. It's going to get funded. Simply not the case. I'd really build, an algorithmic roadmap strategy to be able to get to each of the milestones, and starting with that first screen network. So really asking questions of, hey, could my network produce this? Can I drive a strong campaign? I would speak to experts. I'd reach out to other marketing agencies. I'd reach out to portals, some of the lawyers and accountants in the space as well too. Engage the experts, but they all welcome a call, discussion. People want to see these things succeed, so they'll be able to fill in a lot of the blanks for what you're mapping out with your approach.
Great advice there. And with 2026 kicking off, are you seeing crowdfunding growing in the new year? What's on the horizon for your business?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I serve on the Crowdfund Professional Association board, the CFPA. I'll actually be vice president of the board in 2026. And we have meetings in Washington and part of discussions to see the limits increased, an easier filing process for smaller rounds as well too, even advocating for a tax credit for retail investors and a percentage of their investment showing up as a tax credit for them. So I am definitely anticipating more of a spotlight on the space, more issuers, more investors, more mainstream media speaking about it. I'm watching it happen on my campaigns. So bullish on where this can go in 2026. 2030 later, I think this is going to be the primary approach towards capital formation. And again, as a marketer, see so many more benefits beyond just the actual funds. Working on strategies, working on campaigns right now that are really going to be a big push. They're going to be very loud in 2026. So excited about it. A lot of great things on the horizon for the space.
Well, we will definitely be watching you and the crowdfunding space as we sail through the new year. Jason, thanks so much for coming on the show today and sharing your experiences.
My pleasure, Jody. Enjoyed speaking with you.
We are not done with you yet, however. We are going to segue now into the rapid fire question portion of our podcast. This is where we steal a page from inside the actor's studio. We ask our guests a series of rapid fire questions meant to elicit a simple answer, maybe a laugh or two. With your indulgence, Jason Fishman, let's begin with rapid fire question number one. What's your favorite news source?
I go on to Apple News. It's an aggregator. I find myself on Business Insider quite a bit. Mentioned golf and snowboarding. I get a lot of news that's outside of just straight work, but would put those in the top tiers.
I love hearing Apple News, not because I'm an Apple fanboy, which I am, but hugely underrated, if for no other reason than the magazines. You get full out, like there's like 1,000 magazines as part of the subscription on Apple News. Totally worth it.
That makes me so happy to hear. About 10 years ago, was part of a mobile advertising network where we would run ads in those magazines. Over 1,500 print publishers, the digital editions, interstitials, interactive ads within them. Glad to hear that usage of those is picking up. It was a little slow at first, but I get into those myself.
100%. Absolutely. Rapid fire question number two. What's your favorite social media platform?
I'm in my 30s. I live in Los Angeles. It's Instagram. My team makes fun of me that I'm not on TikTok more. I do, engage on there, but sharing messages, part of threads on Instagram, that's where my friends are. LinkedIn outside of that, but I spend way more time. If I were to show you my screen time app, it would be Instagram.
Rapid fire question number 3, coffee or alcohol?
Coffee. Already had my espresso for the morning here. My dad was actually in the coffee industry. My brother had a coffee business as well. We've worked with coffee companies. I am an enthusiast.
Love to hear it. Rapid fire question number 4, what's your favorite on the run food?
On the run food, here in Los Angeles, I try to keep it pretty healthy. There's spots like Tender Greens where you get a protein veggies from anywhere. That's me. Steak if available, medium rare of course. But I never feel guilty eating it. And yeah, protein and veggies, could be seafood. It may be a little fancy for on the run, but I seek it out whether I'm in an airport or new city.
That's power food, and it'll keep you running for sure.
Yep. Yep.
And rapid fire question number 5, Jason, what do you want to be after you finish this career?
YouTube golfer. Maybe a fun angle on that. Maybe we'll do an episode and it's after this and I'm golfing and we're talking through it while at the course Torrey Pines, or I played Pebble Beach over the summer. But traveling, golfing, speaking with fun people, that sounds good to me.
That sounds like the life. I like it a lot. Jason, this has been a great conversation. Please let people know how they can find you online.
Sure. Feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. Jason Fishman, DNA, Marina Del Rey, Los Angeles, California. Digitalnicheagency.com is our website. YouTube.com/@digitalnicheagency. Just type in DNA, test optimize scales, and in my podcast, you can see my podcast, our monthly webinar series. All of that on YouTube. Have a lot of great educational content.
Fantastic. We're going to put all those links in the show notes. Thanks again, Jason, for joining us today. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the show. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The PR Podcast, and send us a question or a comment. Our intro is by Christopher Apple. You can find him and his fantastic photography on Instagram at Christopher_APPOLDT. Check him out there and hire him for all your photography needs. You can find me online at Jody Fisher on all the socials and on the web at jodyfisherpr.com. We'll see you next time on the PR Podcast.